very good morning and welcome to the program. The Voice is coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. My name is Medina Azaki. It's been a very, very wonderful weekend with so many good news coming out. First, the president did tell the governors that if you don't give local governments their allocation, I'll do fact after fact. And that means there will be deductions straight, from the federation account right to the local government's account. A very welcoming development, one that a lot of people, a lot of Nigerians have been looking towards to, saying if the local governments are strengthened, financially strengthened, maybe just maybe the insecurity that we'll have will reduce to the barest minimum, because at that point a lot of people will be engaged both economically and politically. And we do hope that the president will match his words with others, because he said he has the yam and he also has the knife and he can cut it when he wants to. So we hope to see that's happening in the next couple of weeks as we enter the new year. Another cheering news is that the remaining pupils of the Niger State Catholic School have finally been released with their teachers. We saw the footage yesterday. That's a very cheering news for parents, for Nigerians, for everybody who is a parent and who is a concerned citizen. But today we're going to be focusing on another yet controversial MOU that was signed, and this has to do with the health ministry. Now, over the weekend, the Washington Post, did release a statement that the U.S. government, has signed a 5-year, health plan with the federal government, and specifically on Christian health, providers. Now, these are some of the issues we'll be looking at in a country that is formerly secular, a country that is divided along religious line. Why do you want to use $2.1 billion to strengthen faith-based health delivery? Now, these and more are some of the issues we'll be discussing as we focus on that. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll be joining Professor Akitola all the way from Lagos, to share his insight with us. We'll be back. Stay with us. Welcome back. We'll be joined live by Professor Isiaq Akitola, the Executive Secretary, Muslim Rights Concern, MURIC. Prof, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, ma'am.
All right. Are you oppressed this morning?
Terribly oppressed. As a retired poor teacher.
Yes.
Rewired for dawah, re-engineered for intellectual jihad.
Okay.
I am oppressed.
Okay, all right, sir. So let's go to some of the issues before we come to these suspicious MOUs. Some cheering news. The local government autonomy, financial autonomy seems to be taking place. According to the president, he said if the governors don't do the needful, he's going to do the needful. He's going to do fact after fact. What's your take on that?
I think the president got it right. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he got it right on that. Because for quite some time now, the local government councils have been deprived of their oxygen, which is funding. And the roads are bad everywhere, and people need the attention of the local government. They are not visible anywhere, but it's because the governors seize their allocations and they give them the paltry amount just to make them to something that will enable them to survive. It's not fair, because when you deprive the local governments of necessary funding, you are punishing the citizens. So what I remember there was this judgment and decision by I think it was possible that the previous guardian, that local government still take directly to the local governments. But up to now, oh God.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Up to now, the state governments, the governors, still hold on to the funds. It is surprising and it is disappointing. Our governors who are elected on the platform of democracy are not behaving democratically, particularly when it comes to finances. They want to be all in all, they want to be all powerful, and this is very disappointing.
Okay, so let's go to the MOUs from the FRS, the Federal Inland Revenue MOUs, and now to the health MOU that the Washington, Post released, on Saturday over the weekend, saying the U.S. is committed to spending 2.1 billion, 5-year health plan, and is targeting Christian faith-based health delivery. What's your take on that?
First of all, one is worried, deeply worried, that Nigeria is sliding back and losing its sovereignty. We are submitting our territorial integrity to foreign powers in the area of defense, in the area of health, and in the area of finance, tax, health, and defense. These are critical areas that every serious country will pay attention to, serious attention to. The recent MOU signed between Nigeria and the U.S. authorities is kind of lopsided, very, 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 very partial, very parochial. And I think it belongs to, it's anachronic. It belongs to the Stone Age. I don't know of any country where support, whether for health or for whatever, even military and such things, will be given or offered, and they will sign a pact to favor only one section of the country. This is an attempt to divide Nigeria again. It is an attempt to destabilize Nigeria. And I don't expect a government that has its eyes wide open to fall for this kind of gimmick. It is charlatan, it is shenanigan, it is unheard of in the history of Nigeria. You don't take care of one section without taking care of the others. And we should not allow a foreign country to dictate such archaic method to you. So we are very, very, very concerned that MOU should be turned to business. And we are calling on the Senate, the National Assembly, Senate and House of Representatives to take a review, to do a review of this MOU. It should be returned to the sender. It cannot fly.
Okay, Prof, did Nigerian Muslims make a very big mistake by voting this government into power?
You mean the second time?
No, I said, did Nigerian Muslims did they make a very big mistake by voting this government into power in the first place?
Well, I look into the future personally. I cannot look behind. We learn from the past, but without sitting in regret and remorse. We look into the future and know what steps to follow.
All right, so let's go to the legality of this MOUs itself. The Supreme Court has affirmed that international agreements involving Nigeria derive democratic legitimacy through constitutional processes and legislative oversight, particularly where such agreements affect public policy or citizens' rights. Even where formal domestication under Section 12 is not required, secrecy in international commitments offends the spirit of constitutional accountability. Is it that the National Assembly that we have today is just a barking dog, one that just went to sleep and putting our sovereignty into question?
It will be a great shock if the National Assembly is involved in this. Because we have people from different geopolitical zones, different states, different faiths. The dead ones are Vatican. When this pact was re-signed, were they on another planet? When an agreement was being signed that the Ankara project is coming to favor only one part of the country, to favor a religious group, the Christians, to the detriment of the Muslims in the country, and Muslims in the zoo, and Christians in the cities. It's not, as Nigeria becomes an animal kingdom where 2 legs are good, 4 legs bad. These are questions that trouble our minds. We are made, greatly made. It is bizarre, it's unthinkable. And I don't think any questionable Christian, any good Christian will want to agree with this kind of development.
Okay, and Prof, people will ask, where is the National Assembly when such MOUs are signed? Is it that they are not consulted? And because it's supposed to go through public debate, public scrutiny, come to their National Assembly, how come they don't even raise eyebrows until all of this are signed and nobody is even saying anything?
We have been taken for a ride. And I think this should be taken back. It should be returned to those projects.
Is it possible?
Yes, of course. Of course it is. Because we are going to reject it. We, the people of Nigeria, are going to reject it. We, the Muslims of Nigeria, are going to resist a situation whereby we are treated like animals in the zoo. And the Christians are treated like citizens in luxury homes. We will not accept that. And in fact, you see, we are all taxpayers. The Muslims pay tax and the Christians pay tax. And if this pact involves, I think, $2.1 billion from the United States government, and another greater amount, so I let them say about $3 billion coming from the Nigerian government, from our money, from our common patrimony, to be set aside for a religious group alone, the Christians. No, it is capital no. We cannot take this, and we are going to resist it with every legitimate tool at our disposal. It will not go.
What do you think is the motive behind all these suspicious MOUs? What do you think is the motive?
I think the conspiracy began with this threat of this false narrative, this mirror, this sham of a Christian genocide. They used that to put the Nigerian government into a corner. But it's because the government allows itself to be so treated. This is not a Christian country, and it's not a Muslim country. It is not secular either. It's a multi-religious nation. And nobody, the government should not have allowed any arrangement that would treat the section differently from the other, because it is inviting chaos, it is inviting confusion, it is inviting division. Our law will be shattered. Our tolerance will be so vastly challenged. Our interfaith groups like NIREC are going to sit there and the doors will remain locked because they cannot trust one another anymore. When the group, the Christian group, goes behind the back of the Muslim group and starts inviting America to come and invade the country. That is not And our government now accepts a situation whereby Christians will be given a separate and preferential health services. It is not acceptable. It is not done anywhere. It is apartheid, religious apartheid against the Muslims. It is religious persecution, repression.
But people will say, Prof, people will say this repression, persecution didn't start with the American threat. This government, right from day one, had its own preference, had its own way of appeasing the Christian population based on the fact that it came based on a Muslim ticket. So from day one, its appointment, its programs, some of its policies are all pro the Christian group in Nigeria. So why are you blaming a US government that just came 2 years, a US government threat that came 2 years after the government was in power?
But yes, the US deserves our blame. It deserves our attention at this moment because the US claims to be the greatest democracy in the world, a nation built on justice, equity, fair play, a nation that is the champion of democracy or claims to be the champion of democracy all over the world. And it has been fighting down democratic government around the world. Now come to see this. It is a shame that other governments around the world will now be hearing that US is intervening in the interest of a section of the country in Nigeria. It is a disgrace to democracy.
Okay. But people will also ask, some Muslims will also ask, why is this president, why is this government pro-Christian agenda? Why?
It is a game that the government understands very well, that the federal government understands very well. And the man who is steering, who's at the driver's seat, is on the driver's seat, he understands the game is playing very, very well. Of course, the Nigerian elites, the literati, they also know, but those who can read between the lines, the handwriting on the wall, they know what is happening. Mr. President, as we can see now, is trying to favor the North Central, which is, of course, dominated by Christians at the expense of the Muslim North. Now, he feels it doesn't need Muslim votes anymore. If anybody thinks we don't know what game is about, no, that person is wrong. If he can add the votes of the North Central, which those coming from the Southwest and from the South generally, that he believes it can defeat, it can win, hands down, during the 2027 presidential election. Well, we'll wait until we get to the bridge. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So I wouldn't have any comment about that. But I'm not a politician. I'm just a poor retired teacher, and I teach. I review Islamic issues, not political matters.
But Prof, people like you who are fighting for the oppressed surely have a very big role to play during election. But let's come back to the same, tactics and gimmicks. This was the same template that was being rolled out, but that was being used by President Jonathan in 2014, where he had about 30 to 31 states in his PDP, and yet he lost the election. Is it that people don't learn from history? And they don't learn their lesson? You're using the same template in 2027.
I remember very well, and we in the Muslim rights concern, we said it at the time, particularly when the bishops will assemble in Asoro, when they will take Jonathan to Israel, Jerusalem, almost on a weekly basis, and at the point in time, the president, former President Jonathan, rolled up. I think it was naira design. It was designed like the Israeli flag. So, and we called the president's attention, Jonathan's attention to that anomaly. And look, you are going pro-Israel, pro-Christian. You are forgetting the Muslims. Well, what is this? Your new naira design it sends a message, a very uncomfortable message. This is the Israeli flag, and of course, the government of the day denied it, but people could see, people could read between the lines. It is the same thing that appears to be going on now. And we have been calling on Mr. President to do the needful. Don't trample upon the rights of Nigerian Muslims. We are weak today. We are not strong. We are poor today. We are not wealthy. But then the common patrimony of this country belongs to us all, and it should be equally shared. Position, etc. And we have another dangerous situation, which Nuri has called attention to very recently. The new INEC chairman, Professor Amukwiton, it has been disclosed that he was the finger behind the legal brief of the Christian genocide allegation that was sent to the United States. Now we wonder that, look, if he was behind the legal brief and he's now the INEC chief, the Muslims of Nigeria, the Muslim franchise, they need to see some danger in it, because rigging begins before election, 2 years, 3 years before election. We have complained, it had happened before, when Muslims were massively disenfranchised in this country. And which to register for the election was a problem. To get voters card was a headache. And women in hijab, Muslim women, were disallowed from registration. They were disallowed from getting the card. They were chased away from lands. They were told to go back home and dress like Christians. Imams wearing turbans were asked to remove their turbans and come bareheaded like Christians. And the term they understood at the time was because they wanted to disenfranchise Muslims, reduce our population in voting, and then let some magic happen. We are drifting towards that now. And when Muri complained about Professor Abuki's role in the Christian genocide Blue Haha, the government is not listening. We send a reminder, another press release of Professor Abuki, the need to remove it. It can be given another appointment, but not to play a role on this that will be very, very crucial on the fate of the people of the whole country, on the fate of the election, on the fate of Muslims. Muslim candidates may have it wrong with Professor Abuki. He will do it without showing his face, because he has his finger in every pie being tracked on issues of election in this country. And we are saying Mr. President should listen to the cries of those who are calling for Professor Abuki's removal. The Sharia Council of Nigeria has complained. Murid has complained. Other Islamic organizations have complained. Federal government has not said anything. Mr. President has remained mute. As if
Prof, yes. Prof, isn't it too late for an appointee of the federal government that has already been confirmed for a tenure of 5 years? Isn't it too late to say he should be removed now?
When we talk of criminalities, talk of endangering the population, when we talk of justice, equity, and fairness, nothing is too late. There is no time that is too late for adjustments to be made, for justice to be upheld. You cannot sit in government and allow somebody who has evil in mind. That's how I would describe it. Evil in mind against Muslims, and he's sitting in judgment over us. We are not comfortable with Professor moving on.
Okay.
At the end of
Okay, so Prof, let's go back to the 5-year health plan. The Federal Ministry of Health will have to be doing so much explanation and, telling Nigerians exactly what is contained in the MOU. But the alarming issue you raise is that the federal government has to cough out about $3 billion, to also support this cause. The first question is, where will the federal government get $3 billion? The government that is already borrowing to fund project. Where are they going to get source $3 billion from? That's one. Two, is it not all about campaign money being shared in disguise as healthcare delivery assistance?
If the federal government signed a pact in which the US will be coming out 2.1 or so billion dollars, and our government will come out $3 billion of taxpayers' money, Muslim taxpayers' money, to a project that's going to hurt and emasculate, destabilize, and debilitate the Muslim population in this country, then this project needs to be looked at a second time. Where is this government going to find that money? Of course, they know how they usually source for funds. But the issue there is, the crux of the problem there is the disproportionate, disjointed, and parochial nature of that project. Why should there be a health project that will favor only Christians? Christian health centers. And what is meant by Christian health centers? Where do we have Muslim health centers? Are there secret hospitals built by the federal government for Christians? Is that going to just start now? And our money is going to be used, our joint money, joint account money, our common patrimony is going to be used just for Christians. Hospitals to be attended by Christians, to be used by Christians. Already, Muslims are disallowed to enter certain hospitals. Muslim women are driven back at the University of Jos University of Jos teaching hospital. Once the woman has her head covered with hijab, she will be driven back. In some hospitals too, in the southwest and southeast, women in hijab cannot enter freely. They are told that they will not be treated unless they remove their hijab. They are called names, they are ridiculed, they are stereotyped. And these are excessive human rights abuses. It is coercion. Coercion and intimidation over a woman's faith. There should be no such thing. Section 14 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, forbids such discrimination along religious lines, along tribal lines, along such lines. But when it comes to the issue of Muslims being discriminated against, several NGOs, several newspapers, several television stations, they keep quiet because it is the Muslims that are being backed at, that are being bashed. This Muslim bashing mentality is the problem with our country. It is the bane of Nigeria. If the Muslims are integrated, fully integrated, there will be more peace in this country.
Okay, and Prof, for some people will say even when a Muslim president, a Muslim man becomes a president, he doesn't also address the plight of Muslims. He spends 4 years or 8 years and he leaves. What exactly is wrong? Is it that the system is designed in such a way that it only favors a particular group of people, and or is it that the Muslims themselves are not even ready, to help their cause?
The Nigerian system is heavily Christianized. You take a look at our judiciary, it discriminates against the Muslim legal system. Take a look at the health system, it does the same thing. Our education system ignores Islamic studies in some states, particularly in the Southwest. When the Christian teachers are there in that number, in their thousands, you will find that perhaps only 100 Muslim teachers, teachers of Islamic studies are available. And those few Islamic teachers are diverted to go and teach literature. I was nearly diverted. I was ordered by the Muslim, by a Christian school principal. I was told I could not teach IRK in the school. I could not teach Arabic in the school. Despite the fact that my letter of appointment from the school's board in Ibadan or Oyo State stated clearly that I was appointed to teach Arabic and Islamic studies. But this principal in a public school in Ibadan refused to allow me to enter the class. And he said I would not collect one kobo throughout my stay if I didn't teach. He looked at my papers and saw that in my GCE, I had A1 in English literature. Then he said, "Oh, you are good. You are very good in literature. Start teaching English literature." And I told him, "Look, I graduated in Arabic and Islamic studies. How can I be teaching English literature?" So what they do is they waste through diversion. They waste Muslim, experts, Muslim intellectuals through diversion. And Muslims who pass through such schools fail to get proper Islamic education. The students in that school where I was not allowed to teach, they fail to get a good grasp of their religion. Such children, when they grow up, they don't understand Islam. That is why we have Muslim leaders in politics who need to be sat down again and of course show certain deficiencies in the area of what they should understand.
But Prof, the question to ask is, why is it so difficult to change it? Why is it so difficult to change this constitution that you said is heavily Christianized? Why is it so difficult to change it?
I think they will finish. I don't know if it is in the constitution that the law lists the names of our weekdays and sets aside Sunday as free and Friday as fully occupied. When a Muslim cannot be free, cannot work free on the Friday, is day of spirituality. It becomes spiritually reduced, depleted, ignorant. Whereas on Sunday, Mr. John, my neighbor, goes to church with his wife and children, and they walk at leisure. They walk leisurely. I go to the mosque on Friday. From the lecture room, I drop the church and I start running into the mosque because I have I have only 1 hour that is free. It happens to all Nigerian Muslim workers. And my children who are in other schools, I cannot take them to the mosque. My wife, who is teaching in another school, far away from me, cannot go with me to the mosque. This is disintegration. This is scattering Muslims like wild oats. That we are not important. We are not in the Nigerian project. If the Muslims are in the project, then they should be fully recognized. And that full recognition means we need to reorganize our weekdays and our weekends. Muslims should be given that Friday free. Already the Christians have Sunday. The Saturday is there for the Seventh-day Adventists. Saturday was not free before. It was retired General Gowan who made Saturday free because of Seventh-day Adventists in the country. And they were then only 700 in number. Now we have millions of Muslims in the country. More than half of this population belongs to Muslims. And yet the Muslims are trampled under the feet of the Christians. They are free from morning to evening. And that is why they are able to have Sunday school. Every Christian studies the Bible on Sunday. And 70% of them have become pastors. But the Muslims are losing their knowledge about their religion because they are not even given the chance to learn it in school. They are not given the chance to learn it in the mosque because it cannot be in the mosque. But at the proper time when it's
Yes, Prof. Let me jump in here. I just asked you, why is it so difficult to change it, to change the situation around? Why is it so difficult to change it?
It's not difficult. It is the system that is. It is. It might. Who understand what is happening and who will do the needful. That the National Assembly needs to set it right. Someday, somebody, even if he's a Christian, will do the needful. Because, like Reno Omekri, newly appointed ambassador, Reno Omekri said it about 3 months ago. He pointed out the fact that Muslims in this country are being cheated. Instead, they are being cheated because Friday is not free. Whereas Sunday is free for the Muslims, for the Christians. That is deep and deep.
Okay.
Very, very deep. If a Christian thinker can reason along that line, then we need to don't even non-Muslims and even fellow Muslims too. It's because there are Muslims who become slaves to colonialism, neo-imperialists who do not believe that even when we talk about what Free Friday, they say this particular man, he has come again. He's a fan, he's a fundamentalist, he's a terrorist, they give me different kinds of names. They abuse me, I hear everything I read. I'm abused. I don't respond because I know I have a goal. My goal is the truth. My goal is to set Nigerian Muslims free. Even those who don't know they have handcuffs in their hands, we want to set them free. Let Nigerian Muslims be free. And stop, don't bring this health back. This parochial health.
Okay, yes. Prof, I'm coming to that. As we wind down, how do we wake this National Assembly to do the needful and make sure that that pact is not being implemented?
Well, Muslims in Abuja, Islamic organizations based in Abuja, have a responsibility. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to ask them on the day of judgment why they neglect their responsibility. Why they will not ask the National Assembly directly to intervene, to stop this illegitimate arrangement. It is those who are in Abuja and others around the country who must speak up. Muslim leaders must also speak up from the southwest, Muslim, from the umbrella organization, NSCIA, Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs in Nigeria, and the Sharia Council. And I think the Sharia Council has already spoken up, and we are waiting for the other to rise to the occasion.
Okay, should we be holding the Minister of Health responsible, the man whose ministry, signed the pact?
Not only the Minister of Health, whoever sat at table with American delegates to sign that pact, whoever drafted that pact, whoever had a hand in discussions that led to that pact, that means from top to bottom, from Asora to the National Assembly, because we are going to ask National Assembly that have oversight powers, oversight functions, why is abdicated its responsibility and allowed Muslims to be so badly dealt with in a lopsided anti-Muslim agreement.
All right. Prof, I'm afraid we just have to leave it here. I know that the coming days and weeks was going to be very, very interesting. And we do hope to see more engagement, more outcry, all in the betterment of this country and for all our people. Prof, it's been a very, very insightful conversation with you. Thank you very much indeed, sir, for your time.
My pleasure.
All right. And that's the show. We'll see you again tomorrow. From me, Medina Azaki, and the whole team here. It's bye for now.